made the effort to come here, to come to Burkina Faso, despite everything that is being said about Burkina. I wish you all a warm welcome to Burkina Faso, the land of upright people, for this first international forum held in Burkina Faso. I would like to thank everyone who made the effort to come here, to come to Burkina Faso, despite everything that is being said about Burkina. In particular, the Western media, which keeps trying to make people believe that Burkina Faso is an unlivable, impractical country. And despite all that, you decided to come and take part in these forums. I want to say a special thank you to you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you all. I believe this forum is a tremendous opportunity, first and foremost, to understand one another. For me, this very first forum is not necessarily about deeply strengthening business relationships and such connections, but it is above all about truly understanding Burkina Faso, its people, and its unique culture. So, right away I mentioned the image of Burkina Faso as portrayed by certain media and some nations, but the most important thing is to understand the revolution in Burkina Faso. And I believe we are the only country in Africa that has declared a revolution. And it may be difficult for an investor to understand what a revolution is and how to invest during a revolution. And I can assure you that in Africa, this may be the only opportunity available to invest safely. And it is essential that everyone who comes to invest understands this. For many years, many investors have come to Burkina Faso under the democracy that we know. But many, coming from elsewhere, were betrayed, were disappointed, some were swindled, some were scammed. They were hurt in the ministries or faced many refusals for permits. They were confronted with corruption, with many issues that prevented them from establishing themselves in Burkina Faso. Some, everyone tells us, because many investors came back to us and explained to us all their misadventures in Burkina Faso during this year of democracy. And that's the downside of politics in Africa. Today we are in a revolution and no one needs to submit an approval and wait for years, or as it used to be made to run around before being able to set up. We do things with complete transparency. So, this is the first step to being able to enter Burkina Faso. All those hassles are now a thing of the past, and you can come and invest in Burkina Faso with complete peace of mind. Secondly, we have put a lot of legal safeguards, if I may say so, in place to secure investments. And I think there is a whole range of texts that you can read to better understand why we want to protect the investments of nationals and also those who come to invest in Burkina Faso. Because the revolution is popular, and when we say popular, it means we have a very young population. And it would be mere stalling tactics to proclaim from the rooftops that we are fighting for youth employment without thinking about industry, about processing, in other words, about investment. And we believe that for young people to have jobs, we need to develop industry, we need to have local processing. And so, who better than investors to support and provide jobs for the youth? And so, this is also one of the missions of our revolution. And thank God Burkina Faso is a very resilient country, very young and extremely hard-working. We have a youth today who are fully committed, body and soul, to their work, because we have succeeded in changing many mindsets, in getting people back to work, and the results are being felt. So that's one more compelling reason to be truly confident about investing in the promising nation of Burkina Faso and to have the absolutely necessary and highly qualified workforce readily available to support you as well. Now, something else I wanted to say to your investors is this unique characteristic of Burkina Faso in Africa. Let's be honest, I just gave a few examples right now. Burkina Faso is no longer operating in that way. Investors should not come here trying to bribe either the ministry, someone from the ministry, or the presidency in hopes of gaining advantages. We are eliminating corruption. Investors should not come here with an assumption or expectation that Burkina Faso is merely another one of the many countries found across the diverse and expansive continent of Africa. It possesses its own distinct characteristics, challenges, and opportunities that set it apart from its neighbors and other nations within the region. Unfortunately, this still happens. People praise investment, but because of corruption, it turns into slavery. We do not follow an investment model that exposes our youth to slavery and exploitation. That is why we want to do things transparently, so that every party can benefit from investments in Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is a very rich country. I was just talking about our human resources. We also have an immensely rich subsoil with various types of materials. We therefore have fertile land for agriculture, and the government is putting a lot of energy and money into supporting our producers. We also possess many other valuable assets of integrity and significant value that can be effectively leveraged in the dynamic field of investment. Therefore, I warmly invite all of you to thoroughly explore this extensive range of exciting possibilities, to carefully look into it and fully understand that there are indeed numerous promising opportunities available in Burkina Faso. We are here to support sustainable approaches with mutual respect for investments in Burkina Faso. We want to process our raw materials locally. So we need industries. When we talk about raw materials, we mean materials from the subsoil. We want the limestone we have to be processed into clinker in Burkina Faso and then turned into cement. We want our phosphate to be processed locally into fertilizer. We want our dolomite to be processed into lime on site. We want our manganese to be processed locally. We want our copper to be processed locally, and so on. We have great potential in terms of minerals, but we want to exploit and process it locally for the benefit of Burkina Faso's youth and the investors who will come. As for our agricultural products, we need to process a lot of them locally. As I said, the government heavily subsidizes agriculture, and that's only natural. Burkina Faso is a vast hub where we can set up many industries to produce everything we need and supply the rest of the world. Because we have a hard-working youth, and they just need a little push to get going. So this is an open opportunity for employment. And the government is willing to partner with you to ensure that your investment is secure. And that is therefore very important. Energy, which is a major challenge, has attracted many investors in the energy sector. And so we have instructed the Ministry of Energy to open up to anyone who wants to come and set up thermal power plants in Burkina Faso to produce and work with Sonabel. They are welcome as long as it is done properly, and I think there is absolutely no problem with that, since all industries will inevitably need energy. So for those coming for industry and those coming for energy, I think there is a clear correlation that can be established. In addition to all this, I would also like to engage you, the Burkinabe economic operators, the Chamber of Commerce. So in the past, there have been several times when economic operators already coming from elsewhere have scammed, defrauded, and deceived. And I want you to place above all else the values of integrity of Burkina Faso. These are things we will not tolerate and will suppress with the utmost determination. Here, we learned that someone who came from abroad to invest in Burkina Faso was betrayed by a Burkinabe. So, I call upon everyone present here to and strictly by the book. So in terms of security and transport infrastructure, Burkina Faso is playing its part. We are actively fighting on the ground to reclaim all of our precious land so that we can secure all vital investments, but we are also diligently working hard to build many essential roads to allow you to transport goods and everything else freely, safely, and efficiently. So once again, I welcome you all, and I hope that everyone will benefit from this forum, that it will be ambitious, as you like to say, that investors will be able to meet each other or connect with the relevant institutions, and that together we can set Burkina Faso on the path to development, along with the friends of Burkina Faso. Global geopolitics have changed, and I believe that those of you here are our closest friends. Together, we can make a difference, and each of us, with mutual respect, can benefit from the current situation. Thank you very much to each and every